The difference between rich and poor thinking. A story tells you there was a poor man who worked so hard every day his back ached, yet he couldn't even fill his stomach. Watching the rich man leisurely sip his coffee and walk his pet bird, he felt a surge of injustice. Why is fate so unfair? Unable to contain his anger, he went to God to complain. God asked him gently, "So, what do you think would be fair?" The poor man rubbed his hands together and said eagerly, "Make that rich guy as poor as me, and make him do the same work. If he can still get rich after that, I'll never complain again." God nodded in agreement. "All right, let's do it your way." In an instant, God made the rich man as poor as the poor man. He gave each of them a gold mine and told them solemnly, "The gold you mine each day can be exchanged for food, but the mine must be fully excavated within a month." The poor man was secretly delighted. He was already very familiar with manual labor. Grabbing his tools, he started digging furiously. Soon he filled a cart with gold, took it to the market, sold it, and used the money to buy plenty of meat, vegetables, and white flour, happily going home to provide a good meal for his wife and children. The rich man, however, struggled. Accustomed to a life of ease and comfort, he had never done physical labor. After just a few digs, he was panting heavily, sweat pouring down his face. He barely managed to dig one cart of gold by evening, sold it, and could only afford a few dry, hard steamed buns. He carefully saved the rest of the money. The next day, the poor man went early to dig again, but the rich man was in no hurry. He strolled leisurely through the market. Before long, he returned with two burly men. Pointing towards the mine, he said, "The gold mine is over there. You dig." The two men immediately grabbed tools and started working hard. The rich man stood nearby, supervising. By noon, they had dug up several carts of gold. After selling it, he hired even more people to work. By the end of the day, he had earned many times more than the poor man. Life moved on quickly. The month passed in no time. The poor man was exhausted, but he had only mined a small portion of his gold. All the money he earned had been spent on daily living expenses. The rich man, on the other hand, had not only accumulated a significant fortune, but also used the money to open a shop and start a business. Before long, he had regained his former glory. Throughout life, we are essentially paying for our own understanding. Where does this understanding come from? It comes from the books you've read, the paths you've walked, and the people you've met. Always remember, wealth is a reward for understanding, not a prize for hard work. So never just teach your children to be obedient and hardworking. Wealthy people, when raising their kids, make sure the next generation masters human nature and the art of strategy. Poor people, on the other hand, sign their children up for various dance classes and professional skills every day. No matter how well your child dances, they are just entertainment for the rich to enjoy. If you want to raise a child who is strategic and understands the ways of the world, I recommend parents get their kids this comic version of economics before they turn 15. Because a child who has read the comic version of economics will become frighteningly clever. This book uses comics to teach children some principles of social interaction and ways to improve emotional intelligence. The historical knowledge within it is more than enough to last them through university. For example, if a classmate insults them, they won't get sad. They'll know to tell the teacher, leveraging the situation and using strategy. From a young age, they learn to use strategy to protect themselves because they understand how to assess the situation. The complete set is divided into 6 main themes, compiling the ways of the world that you usually only understand after suffering losses. Each chapter has translations and notes, and also comics to aid understanding. Let your child read the comic version of economics to learn strategy, broaden their perspective, and avoid detours. Don't wait until your child has stumbled to give them the comic version of economics.